A wise old professor stands before his class, holding a large, empty mayonnaise jar. He begins to fill it with golf balls, then asks his students if the jar is full. They agree. Then, he picks up a box of pebbles and pours them in. The pebbles fill the spaces between the golf balls. He asks again, "Is the jar full?" The students, catching on, say yes. Next, he takes out a box of sand and pours it into the jar. The sand fills up every remaining gap. He asks one last time, "Is the jar full?" The students respond with a unanimous yes. Finally, the old professor produces 2 cups of coffee and pours the entire contents into the jar, effectively filling the last bit of space. The students laughed, but the professor explained, "This jar represents your life. The golf balls are the important things, your family, your health, your friends, your passions. Things that, if everything else was lost and only they remained, your life would still be full. The pebbles," he continued, "are the other things that matter, like your job, your house, your car. The sand is everything else, the small stuff. If you put the sand into the jar first, there's no room for the pebbles or the golf balls. The same goes for life. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are truly important to you." This story perfectly illustrates the idea of selecting your battles. It's not about avoiding conflict or giving up. It's about consciously deciding where to invest your finite resources, your time, your energy, and your emotional bandwidth. Let's break it down. Life is constantly throwing things at us. An annoying comment from a coworker, a driver cutting you off in traffic, a social media post you disagree with, a friend who's late again. These are the grains of sand. They're everywhere, and they're seemingly insignificant. But if we let them, they can fill up our entire day, our entire jar. We get angry, we argue, we stew in resentment. We fight these tiny, pointless battles, and at the end of the day, we're exhausted. We have no energy left for the golf balls, for a deep conversation with our partner, for playing with our kids, or for working on that personal project we're so passionate about. Think about a time you got into a heated argument online with a complete stranger. You spent hours crafting the perfect comeback, your heart racing, your fingers flying across the keyboard. You were determined to win, to prove them wrong. And maybe you did. Maybe you got the last word. But what did you actually win? A fleeting sense of satisfaction? Meanwhile, those hours are gone forever. The emotional energy you spent is depleted. That was a battle you chose to fight, but was it a battle worth winning? Contrast this with the big things, the golf balls. These are the battles that truly matter. Standing up for your values. Setting boundaries to protect your mental health. Having a difficult but necessary conversation with a loved one to repair a relationship. Fighting for a promotion you've worked hard for. These are the fights that, while challenging, have a meaningful impact on the quality of your life. They shape who you are and the direction your life takes. These are the battles worth suiting up for. So how do you learn to distinguish between the sand and the golf balls? It starts with self-awareness. You need to get crystal clear on what your golf balls are. What are your core values? What truly brings you joy and fulfillment? Who are the most important people in your life? Write them down. Keep them in front of you. When a potential conflict arises, ask yourself a simple question. Does this matter in the grand scheme of my life? Is this a golf ball, a pebble, or just sand? Here's a practical technique you can use. The October 10 rule. Before you react, ask yourself, how will I feel about this in 10 minutes? How will I feel about it in 10 months? And how will I feel about it in 10 years? That rude comment from a stranger? In 10 minutes, you'll probably have forgotten it. In 10 months, it will be a distant, irrelevant memory. In 10 years, it will be completely non-existent. This simple exercise provides incredible perspective and helps you realize that most of the things we get worked up about are just sand. It's not worth the energy. Letting go of the sand isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of immense strength and wisdom. It's a strategic retreat to conserve your forces for the wars that matter. It's the martial art of the mind, where you learn to deflect minor annoyances instead of absorbing their full impact. Imagine yourself as the CEO of You, Incorporated. A good CEO doesn't get bogged down in every minor office squabble. They delegate, they ignore, they focus on the big picture strategy that will lead the company to success. You are the CEO of your life. Your job is to focus on the big picture. Let's go back to the professor and the jar. After he poured in the coffee, he smiled and said, The coffee shows that no matter how full your life may seem, there's always room for a coffee with a friend. This is the beautiful paradox. By focusing on the big things and letting go of the small stuff, you don't just save energy, you create more space. Space for connection, for joy, for spontaneity. When your jar isn't overflowing with sand, you have the room and the presence of mind to enjoy those small, beautiful moments that make life rich. Think about someone you admire for their calm, collected demeanor. Chances are, they're not immune to life's annoyances. They just have a highly effective filter. They've mastered the art of selecting their battles. They know that their peace of mind is more valuable than winning a trivial argument. They understand that their energy is a precious currency, and they spend it wisely. This doesn't mean you become a pushover. Far from it. When you stop wasting energy on the little things, you have a massive reserve of strength for when you really need it. When one of your golf balls is threatened, your family's well-being, your personal integrity, a core belief, you can respond with focus, clarity, and power. You're not fighting on an empty tank. You're bringing your full, rested, and prepared self to the battlefield that truly counts. So, starting today, I challenge you to become a more conscious warrior. Start paying attention to the battles you're choosing to fight. Before you engage, take a deep breath and ask, is this sand, or is this a golf ball? Is this a pointless skirmish, or is this a fight for something that truly defines my life? Remember the mayonnaise jar. Prioritize your golf balls. Let the pebbles settle in around them, and learn to let the sand slide right through your fingers. Because when you select your battles wisely, you're not just avoiding unnecessary conflict. You're actively choosing a life of purpose, peace, and profound fulfillment. You're ensuring that when you look back, your jar is filled with memories of love, passion, and meaning, not a pile of meaningless sand. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, give this video a like and subscribe for more content on living a more intentional life. Until next time, choose your battles and take care.